Hello again and welcome to another edition of The Lost World. I'm Mary London Sparrow and reading passages from a very dog-eared book. This was written because actually all the journaling that I did, where it started out kind of like love letters to my husband, because we always talked every single night, no matter what. When he was out of town on business or something along that line, we always talked. We always maintained a conversation. He wrote a lot of letters. I mean, I've got tons of letters that he wrote to me and mailed and everything else. And that's kind of a lost art form. People need to write more letters, I think. But anyway, I wrote letters to him basically every night because it was a way I could keep myself sane. And it was a way to deal with my grief. And as I continued to journal after I read through some of the things that I had written, I realized that there was value to it, at least to me. And I was hoping to others. So I decided I was going to publish a book, which I did. And then someone said, it's really good. This would make a great one-woman play. And I said, oh, that's a good idea. So I thought I was going to do that. And a friend of mine, who is a director, said, why don't we just go ahead and cast this with multiple women and just rewrite it so that we can do it for multiple women. Thus, it became The Lost World Monologues. My friend Glenda Kale was the director for it. And we had 9 women that portrayed these entries, and they turned it into their own story. So it became bigger than me, and it became a story of healing and survival and being able to move forward in life. So that's what that was about. But anyway, then there was an iteration with a friend of mine, Kelly Zerbis, out of Los Angeles. She's a singer-songwriter, and she read passages. So it was a enhanced reading with her music that pieces transitioned in between it. So it was very cool, and we'll do more of that at a later date, I think. And I've got other things in the works, but mostly right now, this is just a way for me to be able to share and hopefully help other people heal, and deal with grief on their side. The passage for the day today, by the way, if you have the book, it's called Better Some Than None. I like this one. It's getting close to Christmas, and somehow I find the joy you've given me throughout the years fill me with hope for a future that will bring peace. I can talk about you without bursting into unbelievable bouts of tears, but I still have an empty hole that only you can fill. I find myself okay with being alone because I can talk to you at any time and still feel the love you gave me. I would much rather have that love for the time we had together than never have it at all. Kind of like God's love, Better to have it than none at all. Well, very much like God's love. But also being appreciative of the good things. I think that that's kind of becoming a common thread throughout all of these different monologues and these different entries. And even after we talk, I think that that's, excuse me, allergies. I'm going to sneeze any minute now. There's a lot of ragweed out there. Side story. My neighbor is trying to help save the bees, so they've planted all these wildflowers and letting weeds grow because they bloom, and the butterflies and stuff and the bees come by and pollinate and all that. Well, ragweed is one of those things that's just blooming like crazy right now. So I want to save the bees. I do. I want to save the honeybees. I love the butterflies. I just don't like the ragweed. Not so much. Anyway, I have digressed. Something not that unusual for me. But better to have some than none at all. I'm really, really lucky, and I know that. I know that one of the performances that I had with Kelly last year, we actually did like a house concert type thing, and There's one woman that was there, and she was in tears throughout the whole thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, she must have just lost her husband. He must have just died. I sat down next to her and I talked, and she said, no, I've been divorced. And she said, and that's like a death. And it is. And I realized that this really is bigger than just about grieving for someone that you love and lost in death. This is also about grieving for someone that you had a relationship with and you don't anymore. And yet you can still appreciate the good things about a relationship. But one of the things she said, which I have to remember, she said, I cried a lot because, yes, I lost that relationship, she said, but I never had what you had. I don't know what that's like. That made me sad. But within our talks, I think she understands that the possibility of having that is there. She may not have had it with her ex-husband or ex-partner, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So, on that note, it's better to have had it than not at all. And if you've not had it yet, that doesn't mean you won't. Okay? So, go forward with joy, with peace, with hope. And I'll see you again soon on The Lost World. Please subscribe, hit the little bell on the bottom. And every time this is a new episode, one will come up and you'll be notified. And please feel free to share it with friends or make a comment if it's worthy. Thank you. See you again. Bye.